This is Luke Iorio, and here's this week's Meaningful Moment. Hey, thanks for dropping in on this moment. You know, this idea of waiting, being patient, seeing how things come together and other thoughts like this have been passing through my mind of late. And yet I know this. If I wait, I may never have the chance to write that book, tell that person how much I miss them, get that chance to fail miserably, but to press on until I succeed. If I wait, I may leave so much undone and leave so much still within me. We don't know what tomorrow will bring. And yet we postpone, we push off, we convince ourselves of some perfect time in the future when it's all going to come together. We tell ourselves that I'll be happy when I get that raise, when I have a certain amount of money in the bank, when I find that relationship, that person, when I have more free time. We tell ourselves I'll be enough when I've gotten that promotion, proved that I can do this, when I've written that book, when others recognize my efforts and talents, when I get seen. We tell ourselves that I'll be ready when I've taken that extra class, I've gotten my degree, I've studied a bit more, I've had that extra conversation, I've thought about it a bit more, I've proved it again, when it's perfect. These are all when syndromes. Happy when, enough when, I'll be ready when. And these syndromes, they all lead to regret. They lead to chances not taken. They lead to unnecessary pain and delay that may even lead to never. These are all thoughts and patterns that I've experienced at different times in my life. I've even gotten stuck in them for a while. Happiness was supposed to come after that promotion, after that income, after that job title, after I had earned that happiness in some way. And yet it didn't come. I would be enough. It was there when I would get that recognition, that validation, when others would acknowledge or accept me and tell me that I was enough. And yet the feeling of enough didn't come. I'd be ready after some elusive experience or that next level of education or some arcane bit of insider knowledge in some far-off retreat or training. And I attended it. And yet, I still wasn't ready. All of this has come to mind because currently I am starting to write a book. And the key word there is starting. You see, I had been starting for some time, jabbing at outlines and thoughts, quietly penning ideas in random notes, but nothing was really gelling. The muses just weren't grabbing me. I wasn't ready. I wasn't enough. I just needed whatever was going to fill in that blank. Well, I didn't need anything more than to just write, to start talking about the concepts and the content, to start getting feedback and stories, to start finding the research and pulling it together and writing on it. I realized that I didn't need to do anything more than to stand up and live that which I was sitting down to write. You see, it's funny, but more and more research shows that things like happiness isn't created by success. Instead, it's the reverse. It's happiness that creates success. It's often that which we want to have, the happiness or joy or connection or trust or love or peace. It's whatever we want to have. It's these states that actually drive the type of success and life experience that we wish to have. Build the experience and the quality of life that you want to have now. Don't wait. And then act from that place. Don't live for some conditional future. Be happy now. Find that connection and that joy now. Let it through. Or you could even say the working title of my book, because it's about living what matters. You see, for me to go from starting to write to actually writing was about me living my own material even more fully and stop thinking about it. When I initially went to write, when I sat down to put my fingers on the keyboards, I turned my focus from living and being to instead thinking about what I should write and how. It took me out of the very thing that I wanted to share. Instead, if I'm living it, if I'm experiencing it, if I'm being it, it becomes about sharing, not about writing. It becomes about inviting my readers into a story and into a moment, into that experience, and not about structuring and sequencing and all the things that editing afterwards are for. Start doing from the place of being, the very being that you wish to experience. And if you need that little bit of a motivator to get kicked into gear, well, here's the question that has worked for my clients as well as for me personally. If it were all to end tomorrow, in what ways do you want to have lived your life so that you'd be content leaving this world? If it were all to end tomorrow, in what ways do you want to have lived your life so that you'd be content leaving this world? That's the life that you want to prioritize. That way of being, that way of showing up, that way of doing and acting, that way of sharing who you are, that way of living. Don't hold anything back. Start living what matters to you. The happiness will be there. You will realize that you are already more than enough and that you have always been ready for this life. Until our next moment together, much love.